everyone. So we got a good night's sleep last night. We got back to the hotel and took a shower and just passed out. It was a big day yesterday doing that Freedom Trail and being up at 4 a.m. To get the flight over to Boston. So a little review of the tacos that I ate last night. Definitely very flavorful. I would say the carnitas were a little oily though. Like I like flavorful carnitas, but generally carnitas are pretty dry, so I don't really like them when they're very oily like that. But they weren't bad. Not sure I'd go back, but my husband definitely liked the carnitas tacos a bit more than I did. So today we will be taking the Amtrak over to New York. It's not really too far in the Amtrak. Boston and New York are actually pretty close, so yeah, so let's get our day started. Here we are on the Amtrak en route to New York Penn Station from Boston Bayback Station. Yeah, so far it's a pretty smooth ride. Takes about 4 hours, so it's not too bad. Yeah, I really enjoy taking Amtrak. It's a really nice way to travel throughout the U.S. Just take longer than a plane, but you don't have to go through the hassle of going through TSA security, and you can definitely bring more bags, and you're not limited with your liquids. After 4 hours on the train, we made it over to Penn Station. Yay, we're now in New York City. So exciting. Every time I come to New York, there's always a new thing to see and a lot of things to do. Yeah, let's get going. So here we are in the New York subway station. We're going to get the metro over to Chinatown and get ourselves a really late lunch. So looks like we'll be eating at this Chinese restaurant today. It's been a long time since I've been to Chinatown in New York City, so I don't remember which place is good and which place I've tried before, but this place looks like it has a lot of variety of things and it doesn't look too expensive. So I got my favorite shrimp dumpling dim sum, and I also got some sticky rice wrapped in bamboo leaves. It has some mushrooms and some pork inside. Yeah, these are two of my most favorite dim sums. I'm very excited to have some traditional Chinese food. I really miss eating this kind of food in Florida. So we just finished a really late lunch since we didn't get into New York until after 3:30, and then we went to the hotel to drop off our bags first. Yeah, we didn't get to eat like really lunch at all until just now. So we stopped at Chinatown. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stop in Boston because we were running late and we missed the bus. But yeah, we got to Chinatown in New York. I was able to get some dim sum, and my husband got some ramen noodles. Yeah, so it was pretty good. The prices are pretty good at the restaurant we ate at. There's a lot of combos where you can get four deli items, I think, and soup for like $9. That's a great deal. Yeah, the dim sums did cost a bit more. $3 for the shrimp dumplings, and I got 4 of them. $3 for the bamboo leaves, but they did give us 2, so that wasn't too bad. Yeah, so they were pretty good. It was just the right amount of food.
So a little tip for you guys, and something we didn't talk about in the previous New York video. So a lot of places are now implementing proof of vaccination to be able to dine in. You can always get things to go, and you don't need to show proof of vaccination, but to dine in, a lot of places are requiring that proof. Definitely a lot stricter than Florida. Florida doesn't have that implementation at all, and stricter than California too. Not a lot of places in California have asked, but definitely in New York City they are doing that. And now we are heading back to the Times Square area of New York City. So our plan for the rest of the day is to check out some of the new shops in New York City. We had heard about the new Nintendo shop and the new Harry Potter shop, and we definitely would really like to check them out. And yeah, let's see what else we end up finding along the way.
Center actually. I didn't realize how close it would actually be.
Wow, the Nintendo store is really cool. There is so much different merch to see in here, and it's also really huge. Yeah, this is really cool for me because I pretty much grew up with Nintendo products. I always had like the handheld consoles like the Game Boy Advanced and Game Boy Color, and then the DS and 3DS. I also love playing with the Nintendo Wii, and I love Mario and Pokemon. So this is really cool. So they also have a lot of the games here that you can buy for the new gaming consoles, and a lot of Mario plushies all over. Yeah, so if you guys love Nintendo, Super Mario, you would really love this store. The Nintendo store actually has 2 floors. The top floor is like a Pokemon lover's paradise. There's Pokemon plushies and merchandise everywhere. There's tons of things to see. Also over here, for those of you that collect old Game Boy consoles or Nintendo consoles, they have also a bunch of the consoles here. You can see all the different ones that they've made so far in the case. Yeah, I definitely remember some of these, but I wasn't old enough to remember the most oldest consoles that they have. But it's really cool to see the whole like history of Nintendo gaming consoles here. There's also some pretty cool display cases up here on the second floor. They have a display case with a bunch of Nintendo figures, and they also have some props from some of the games. So yeah, the Nintendo store is really cool. Even if you don't like gaming, it is definitely cool to come in here and just see all the different stuff they have in here. Even though I don't play Legend of Zelda, I couldn't leave without getting a picture with the backdrop.
Finished looking inside the Nintendo store. Yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, now we're gonna head on over to FAO Schwartz, one of my favorite childhood toy stores.
Here we are inside FAO Schwartz now. FAO Schwartz is a huge toy store. There's rows and rows of toys and merchandise to see. Yeah, it's a great place to see a lot of things that you're not used to seeing. There's a lot of FAO Schwartz merchandise, and here we have a section just devoted to candy. Yeah, it's a great store to go even if you're not a kid, but especially for kids. Kids would definitely love this. I used to love to go to FAO Schwartz when I was living in San Francisco. We had an FAO Schwartz in Union Square, but it closed down after a few years. So this is actually the only FAO Schwartz still, I think, in the US inside New York Times Square. Here we have a figurines display case. There's a lot of cool marble figures here to see. FAO also has 2 floors, just like the Nintendo store we were just at. FAO Schwartz here has their own little Build-A-Bear workshop inside the store. We saw a little bit of a beginners learn how to do magic section of the shop. Yeah, so there are definitely a lot of things to see. We haven't even seen all of the store yet. So FAO Schwartz was actually founded in 1862 in Baltimore, Maryland. Since then, they've had quite a few toy stores, but unfortunately, as the years went on, the company went bankrupt, and now there are very few stores left. Like I said, I thought New York was the only US store still in existence, but when I looked it up, it turns out that there is actually another FAO Schwartz inside the Chicago Midway Airport. But I think the New York one is the only store that you can go to easily.
Yeah, now we're gonna go into the new Harry Potter store.
over here in the Harry Potter store, we have some props from the movie. The Marauder's map from the third movie, and also the stack of letters that comes out of Harry's chimney from the first movie when he's in the Dursleys' house and isn't receiving his letters. This is really cool. And walking into the new Harry Potter store in New York, it is definitely made for New York. Everything is huge. There's tons of stuff to see inside. There's a lot of merchandise. We haven't even made it through like a quarter of the store yet. I'm very impressed. I really didn't expect the store to be so big. So yeah, in a previous video, we were at Universal and we got to see Harry Potter Land. So this is a little piece of Harry Potter Land in New York City for New Yorkers that are nowhere near Florida. So yeah, I love that they put this here in New York. I am a really big fan of Harry Potter, and the store is done really well. It really has a lot of the details here. It has some of the merch that you can find over at Universal, like the wands and some of the t-shirts. It's really cool. They also have the Harry Potter books that you can purchase here, hardcover, paperbacks. There's a lot of cool things to see if you are a Harry Potter fan. So far, the coolest thing was that there's this place right here where you can feel like you're practicing magic with a real wand. If you wait a few minutes in between turns, you can touch one of the wands around the circular area and it will display a certain image inside. And it's definitely really cool. So if you guys haven't gotten a chance to come to the store in New York, you definitely got to try this. One of my favorite parts of the Harry Potter store. Here is where you can buy the Harry Potter books, hardcover and paperback. And also on the ceiling they have all the books, and they made like a little doorway out of the Harry Potter books. And there's a bunch of merchandise in this display case, a bunch of picture books, and a lot of props. So this was a pretty cool area to see. is some Harry Potter themed jewelry that you can purchase. They are very expensive. A lot of the merchandise is very expensive though. But they are very pretty, that's for sure. And over here in the next room, we have some more stuff. Yeah, the Harry Potter store is very big. It's actually 2 levels. There is a lot of merchandise to see. And here we have the Marauders map, which is really cool. It's from the 3rd movie. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the Nintendo store, FAO Schwartz, and the new Harry Potter store in New York City. Join us next week as we go to the new American Dream Mall in New Jersey. Bye guys!